Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition. And we had a pretty good week in Bitcoin and the altcoins this week. We crossed over 30,000 a week ago, and Bitcoin has held on to that despite some pushback from the bears. And today has been a very interesting day. We had a drop of about 5% early this morning. Let's look at the chart and try to figure out why. Okay, I've got an article up from TradingView. You guys see that okay? I will
Got
see.
it, TJ.
All right. Appreciate it. If Craig's here, usually he pipes up and confirms, but if Craig's not here, I need someone else to do it. Anyway, so this is an article talking about the Bitcoin ETFs. Those have been in the crypto news the last couple of weeks. And evidently the SEC said, no, your filing was incomplete. And so I think this had something to do with the big drop this morning because this news came out in the 7 o'clock hour. I'm not sure what, this is a Twitter post here. I'm not sure exactly what time this person or what time zone he was in. But they're from BlackRock, ARK, Fidelity, some really big institutions who want to do Bitcoin ETFs. And I'm not going to go through the details of that, but it's essentially people can get access to Bitcoin through their investment company, which makes people feel better as opposed to connecting to Coinbase or some foreign exchange. So it should help the market, or at least Bitcoin, considerably when and if these ETFs are proposed. They've been turned down before. So I'm very curious to see if these move forward. But again, these had something to do with I believe they had something to do with the Bitcoin moves today. Let's exit out. I'm on the day chart. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. Let's look at today's movement. This is a big move I was talking about, 6:30 Pacific. Yeah, 5%, and got almost all that back, to the point where it's just down 1% for the day and then pretty much going sideways since then. So good stuff there on Bitcoin, holding 30K. And I think if we can hold that as support, there's a good chance we could bounce up, go up to 32, 35, maybe even by the end of July. So, and July is usually a good month for crypto. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Ethereum has not been as dramatic. And this is the 1980 top of range I've had in for quite a while. We did break through it briefly back in April, but didn't last. So I'm looking to see if, again, we can break through this 1980 to 2000 range, shoot on up to 2200, 2500, 3000. Potentially good stuff there for Ethereum. And then one more thing I wanted to look at is I noticed this when I was during my prep, and I don't emphasize this enough, is you guys can create your own lists on TradingView if you don't have access to Altcoin Alert or iCoin Pro or one of the paid info sources that I like to talk about. You can do this stuff for free, create your own lists, whatever tokens are on the exchange you like to trade, and then you can sort those lists. I'm going to do that right now, sort by change. And look at all these double-digit moves today, and all of these are old school cryptos that have been around for a few years: Horizon, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. I mean, I noticed it in Bitcoin Cash, and I thought maybe it was just catching a ride with Bitcoin, as it does sometimes. But we've got big moves here with Maker and LPT, Quantum, Aave. The list goes on. Ethereum Classic, Comp Zcash, and then this just Woo is the only fairly recent release, at least the one that I became aware of. And then you have EOS and Dash, which are all older projects as well. So I'm curious if anyone has any theories on this. And lo and behold, we have Connie Reynolds with us today. And if anyone has a theory on such things, it's got to be Connie. So I'm putting you on the spot, young lady. You got anything for us?
I was actually on when Bitcoin
decided to make that momentous move this morning. Like, goodness gracious, was that a falling knife, right?
Yep.
And just to watch everybody's reactions, like, what? But yeah, it's really interesting that right now these things are waking up. And the fact that Litecoin made such a huge move, 30% earlier in the day is just mind-boggling. Here yesterday, we were just talking about how quiet and silent it was. But, that keeps us on our toes, right?
Yeah, Litecoin frustrates me. I actually had something to do with that move on Litecoin because I sold my swing trade last week for a small profit. And so whenever I lower my exit price on something, longer term than a day trade, it shoots up every time. It's Murphy's law of crypto trading, I think, at least for me. But anyways, I'm a highly superstitious crypto trader, and I think that my moves affect the whole market, which is probably a bit delusional on my part, but keeps it fun. Like Connie says, we never know really what's going to happen with these. And we can look at the charts and try to anticipate things best we can, but we don't know what the whales are going to do, or, hedge funds or people like that. So, Litecoin is something, Connie and I have used to move value between exchanges back when the Ethereum fees were so high. We liked it for that purpose, and so I got used to checking on it from time to time, and then they added I think a secrecy aspect to it, or something like that. Do you know about that, Connie?
I really don't. I think the biggest thing that's value has been is the fact that it's still a proof of work.
Yes.
Yes. And those are being really, from a secure standpoint, they haven't had any problems, right?
Right.
And
And the
hacking.
SEC is not after the proof of work
Oh, they
projects.
are. And so when you look at the coins that from the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, what does that tell you? Those things are going to pump this shit. If we don't think they are, then we're really fooling ourselves.
Yeah,
They are
Litecoin.
they are these stables.
Yeah. Wow, 30%.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk?
And this one's been around since 2010 or 11, 12, something like that. I mean, it's more than, I think it's 10 years old, if not older.
Yeah, it's been around, and it came to serve a purpose. It was named Litecoin. They wanted the speed and the efficiencies that Bitcoin couldn't offer at that time.
Yeah. So even though, this is primarily a day trading Zoom call, I do bring up swing trade issues from time to time, and today was one of those days. So,
But this
CJ,
wasn't definitely a day trade. I mean, it's just
well, this would have been a day trade, yeah, had you caught it, but this one's usually kind of sleepy, and then it just shot up the last few days. Go ahead, Frank.
can you put it on a day chart and
Yeah.
show us where and why you got out of your swing trade?
Yeah, I did pretty well on one. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I got in probably around here, around 88 or so earlier this month. Then we had this big drop. I bought in again around 79. I'd set that up before. And then it went down here. I considered getting in again, but I didn't. I just waited. And then it kind of putzed around for a while. And then I set my take profit at around 79. So my first position was a small loss. My second position was about a 5% profit. So I got a little impatient. It's not a teaching moment because I didn't really do it very well, but anyway, I'm not a very good swing trader, and I'd like to get better at it, but I don't just have I really don't have the patience for it. It kind of makes me crazy. So
Okay, don't do
that's
it.
one of those things I think I should do, but
would you call that swing, or would you call it long term?
well, for me, I was just going to be in it for a week or two. So I guess, swing isn't real well defined. It's longer, to me, it's longer than a day trade and shorter than a hodl. So that could be anything from, a few days to, a year. Anyway. All right. Well, any other questions or comments about the market before we look for some, day trades? That's what I do. All right. Let's go over to Altcoin Alert and see if we can find something to look at this weekend or later tonight. I'm on the altcoin radar page. I'm going to reload. The first sort I do is the AA score, looking for values 80 or higher. For a long time this year, we didn't have any. We just had a few high 70s, so I was kind of fudging a little bit and using those. But today we do have an 80 value of seller. It's up 5.5% today. I was looking at it earlier, so I've got the chart up. And let me go over here to the 5-minute chart, see if I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 dip setup or a 1, 2, 3 pump if I'm looking for something to short, which I often do on Fridays, as volume does tend to drop over the weekend. So that's usually more conducive to short trades. If you're not on a leveraged platform, you're going to pay most attention to the long positions and strategies that I'm going to talk about. So at the moment, we are at the top of the Bollinger Band, which is not a good entry for those seeking dip trades. The Bollinger Band distance is less than 2%, so we're kind of in a squeeze. We're towards the top of the Bollinger Band. So if you don't want to deal with indicators and you want to look for a potential entry later on a dip, I'm seeing some on a range here, right about here for support. You might want to put a price alert in this vicinity, right about here, add alert, crossing, and alert name. I like to use my information source, which in this case is an AA score purchase, and you click create, and this alert will go off, and you can reevaluate, see if you're in a dip sequence. Speaking of dip sequences, heck, let's look at Aave. This is an alert from this morning. Okay. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm gonna go a little out of order, but I think everybody on here has been with me before, at least once. So in this situation, we have a pump that broke through the top of kind of nudged up the top of the Bollinger Band on the 15-minute chart. It's dipping below on the RSI, so I've got an alert set to let me know when this happens. And sometimes this is a good place to get in. Though I think I already in this trade based on this movement here. Yeah, I'm in this trade from this movement here. So it's gone against me a little bit, but not much. So we will go over how to set this up and analyze this in a few minutes, but I just want to let you know this alert did go off. If you're looking for a short, Aave had a nice pump today, but it could be losing some steam here if you're looking for a short for the weekend. So okay, let's go ahead and finish our analysis on seller, and we will move over to Aave if it comes up on new analysis. Okay, we talked about putting a price alert in the vicinity of this range. I'm going to delete this for the moment. I don't use the 5-minute alerts very often. I like indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart, so we're going to look at those first. We're going to go over 3 different strategies. 2 of them are what I would call contrarian, or you're looking for dips, looking for pumps, like I just showed you on Aave. And then I also have the super trend, which is, like it sounds, trading with the trend. So the first one I like is divergence. This is disagreement between the indicators and the price action. And I'm going to look at, on the 15-minute chart, the last 2 days usually, and see how those divergence alerts did. One thing you need to be aware of, this divergence from any indicators that I'm using does repaint, meaning it will adjust as it gets new information. So back testing this is not perfect. And that's why I have this other one here, this non-repaint. And that's these numbers you see I often use those for confirmation. What I like about this divergence indicator is it's very alert friendly, and we'll go over that in a moment. First of all, I want to look at the last few divergence alerts and see if they would have been profitable. This bullish divergence goes against us for a while, and then it comes back. The way I trade, I would have been in probably one ladder buy and would have gotten out around here with an overall win on the position. Just by eyeballing, I can see these bullish divergences did pretty well. This bearish one did is I think would have been profitable as well. I'm looking for a 1% move on 10x leverage. So each successful trade I have is usually 10%. I love 10% trades. And all these look pretty good. All these bullish ones would have caught this move up. These bearish ones would have caught this move down that we talked about earlier. And we haven't had any in a little bit. But if you want to use the strategy and set alerts on it, do it like this. Right click on divergence, negative divergence detected, 1 bar per close. And again, that's going to be my AA score purchase, and click create. And you need to do 2 of them if you're going to trade both directions. If you're trading spot, you just want to trade in the positive direction, choose positive divergence, and the rest will be the same, and click create. Okay, so that's divergence. If you'd rather trade with the trend, I like SuperTrend. There's a couple of them in the indicators. If you type in SuperTrend, I've got 5 of them starred. I kind of vacillate between these two, and I tweak the settings. I think I had this one at 5 for a while in the ATR period, and I put it back on 10. So I use divergence more than SuperTrend, but I just look back for a couple days and see which one's the best. Divergence will go off. Those alerts will go off more frequently than SuperTrend usually. But as I look at this, all the super trends have done pretty well. We have this sell here that dropped down, this buy here. Again, for me, it's just 1%. If you're trading spot, you probably want bigger moves. Like, let's say you're looking at this buy, and oh yeah, I use the RSI here and the momentum indicator for confirmation. And for trend-based alerts, you should have 2 or 3 confirmation indicators as well. So if I'm trading spot, I'm more in tune with looking for an exit at prior resistance or just below it. So I'm seeing some resistance here. I'm seeing some more here. I probably would have set right around here for my goal of my take profit. And I would have just missed it. So I would have been in that trade a little longer and probably gotten out right about here or here, somewhere between 2 and 4% based on this recent information is how I would have done that on a spot trade. On my leverage trades, I'm just going for 1% on a chart because that's going to be, 10x leverage, that's going to be a 10% move. And I like those. This sell did pretty well. Got my 1% here. This buy obviously did very well. This sell did really well. And this buy probably, I might have gotten out on this, maybe not. And if not, then I'm still in it. So I like SuperTrend for this if you want to trade it both directions. Well, here's what you can do. It's very alert friendly. If you're trading spot, you're going to go with the buy once per bar close. That'll keep it on until you turn it off. So that may go off a few times in a day. And again, that's an AA score purchase. And that's how you do that one. If you want to short, maybe this is your weekend short, click on sell. What I do most of the time is direction change. I'm trading both directions. So that's the super trend. And then finally, I like to use the RSI to help me find dip sequences. I find that, and pumps. I find that when it dips below the 30 value right here, and then comes back up, here's an example of that. That's a good place to get in. And that usually coincides with a dip sequence on the 5-minute chart. We've got a pump over here, and then it dips below, which is going to happen right about here. Let me get my vertical line. So that pump dips right about there. As you can see, that's a nice move down. And then that cross earlier happens right about here. That might have gone sideways for a while and then gotten out right about here. So, and then on this one here, we got a pump and then a drop. Let's see if I would have gotten out pretty quickly on that. Nah, I don't get out till that big move here. And then we got the drop here below 30. And it goes back up again, and then you catch this move up. So all the RSI positions look pretty good, but this one's going to go off probably the least. It won't go off as much as Divergence. Sometimes it'll be annoying if it just kind of putzes around down here. It'll go off like every 15 minutes for half an hour or so. That's annoying. But so what I usually do is I trade one account based on this RSI, dip trades and pumps, and I trade another account using SuperTrend and Divergence. Okay, I went over that in some detail. So are there any questions, or did I go too fast? Of course, those of you who've been with me for a while probably seen me do this, I don't know, 10 or 20 times, if not more. All right, let's look on Altcoin Alert then and see if we can find another one. I'll go through those, the next two. I'll do two more. I'll go through those a bit faster. So that was the AA score sort. I used this one today or yesterday, 1 hour projected range. I'm usually looking for values of around 3% or higher. I'm just looking for that 1% move. So Altcoin Alert saying FET or fetch has a really good chance of going up 3+ % the next hour. I don't usually get values that good, but then FTT, I don't care to trade that. Litecoin, it's below 2%, so the only one I like here is FAT. Let's check it out. Actually, this was delisted, I think, from a couple places. May have to find out where this is. It's still on Binance. I wonder if this is still on Bybit. Spot trade on BitGet. There we go. All right, it is on Bybit. Cool. Let's start with the 5-minute chart. And again, it's kind of squeezy here, top of the Bollinger Band. Don't like that for an entrance, but we do have support. You know, this range here would be right around 21 down to 20 cents. That could be a potential price alert area. Okay, divergence on the 15. This is where I do most of my alerts and trades. That short did well, that long did well. These shorts eventually were profitable. The one problem here is this one. This one here. I would not have been up at 4:30 Pacific, but yeah, that probably would have stop lost me out. So that's a concern. All except this one look really good on the divergence side. I don't like to do an alert on something where I see a loss in the recent past. So let's look at SuperTrend. Okay, SuperTrend. Eventually that buy wins, that sell does well. This buy looks good. This sell probably would have squeaked by. Got my 1%. Yeah. That buy does well. This sell does well. This buy probably takes this big move. Yeah, so I would use SuperTrend for an alert on this and just go with that both directions option. So if you're on leverage, you can do that. If you're on a spot, stick with the buy. And on the RSI, got a cross here, nice move up. Drop here, nice move down. This one's a bit problematic. It drops, goes back up. But I think this eventually works in our favor. Yeah. I might have done a ladder buy in here and then caught this move down. And then we've got this. So this RSI is working really well. And this catch, there's a dip here and it catches that big move up. So probably the three I've looked at, SuperTrend and RSI look the best. There was that one bad entry on Divergence that would discourage me. So I would go with these two options. Okay, any questions on fetch? All right, we're at about 25 minutes. Let's do one more, and then I'll throw it open for questions. Reload. So we've done AA score, 1 hour projected range, and then my other favorite is the Elder Impulse combined with the long-term sentiment. Sentiment is Twitter data, what people are talking about, and then the Elder Impulse daily is it's a technical indicator. When these match up, I like to look at them in some more detail. Talked about Bitcoin Cash already. I'm going to look for a short, my short of the weekend, and see if any of these match up. This is not working the way I expect it to. All right, I have to scroll down a bit. I'm not seeing any matches with long-term sentiment. Most of it's neutral. Sort by Elder Impulse. Okay, bearish. No matches. Okay, let's forget that one. Let's try social activity and trading activity. These are less precise than these other two, but I have used these from time to time in the past. And let's look for, since we're looking for a short, we have to know that's something you can actually trade on leverage. And I'm looking for something negative on social activity and something negative on trading activity. So poop and a thumbs down, that's good stuff for a short. And Ren is something I know I can trade on leverage, so I'm going to look at that one. Let's go to Ren. Okay, instead of a dip sequence, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 pump. We're kind of in the midst of one at the moment. We've got a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of a bubble, and hasn't quite dipped below yet. So yeah, we're a little too early to this party on a short. So I think I'm going to go over to my 15-minute chart and see what that has to say. So to catch this on a short, I would want to see the RSI go above 70 and then drop. So that would be my approach to that. Could also look for divergence, bearish divergence. We had one here early this morning. We haven't had one since on Ren. But again, if you want to set alert, right click, negative, that's the first one that comes up. Once per bar close. And this was almost, it was an Elder Impulse sort. Yeah, click on that for your, I might go ahead and do that one. And then make sure notifications are lined up. I was doing some auto trade stuff earlier today, so I got to make sure I got my right sounds going. I like to notify in my app on my phone, show pop up on my desktop computer, then play a sound. For divergence, I usually use this one. And I'm going to set that alert. And this bullish one did pretty well earlier or yesterday. But the one more likely to go off is this RSI. Let's look at SuperTrend real quick. This sell did not do well. Eventually would have caught this. This buy did well, that buy did okay. And the RSI, when it hit this and dropped, we got this nice move down. Got a little bit lucky on a short on that one. This one didn't make it to the 70 area, which is what I'm looking for on a short. Yeah, so I think an alert on this one, there's a couple things you can do. If you want to trade both directions, you click on add an alert. We're going to enter a channel. 70 on the top, 30 on the bottom, once per bar close, and then call it what you want. But I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to go crossing down on the 70. Elder impulse. And the notification should stay the same. Yeah. Since this is a dip trade, I'm gonna go with my chirpy. There we go. That's gonna be my short of the day. I'll leave that on tonight, see if I can catch something. Okay. Well, that's about all I have for 3 different sorts one can do on Altcoin Alert. The strategies I've showed you apply to any information source, so you don't have to use the ones I'm talking about to find your trades. There are other sorts you can do on TradingView in addition to free services like CoinMarketCap, CryptoBubble, CoinGecko, CoinPotato. Well, that one's a news one, but you get the idea. So, any questions on what I've gone over on day trading or anything else you want to look at in the market? I think I had something in the chat. Nope, I did not. All right, then. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. If you are watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Hope to see you live next time. But check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. They help support the channel. If you're a Carbon member, stick around. We will get to that one in a minute or two. Have a good weekend.